He was used to being invisible. Ethan Cole, 37, widowed, a janitor at Jefferson High, and father to a 7-year-old girl who depended on him for everything. He boarded the plane with a backpack that had one spare shirt, a half-finished picture his daughter drew, and a folded envelope with the last savings he had scraped together. He wasn't flying for vacation. He was flying to beg the Air Force Base commander for help. 3 days earlier, the school district cut overtime hours. Ethan's second job, the one that kept his daughter's medical treatments afloat, vanished overnight. He didn't panic at first. Ethan had lived through worse. But when Emily looked up at him with her sparkly blue eyes and asked if she could still go to her next appointment, something inside him cracked. He wasn't always a janitor. Once, long ago, he wore a flight suit. Not for long, not enough to make history, but long enough to earn a call sign, Ghost Step. It was a name his squadron gave him for the way he flew, silent, precise, unshakable. But after Emily's mother died in childbirth, he traded the cockpit for diapers, night shifts, and a broom. The military understood. They released him honorably. But the sacrifice followed him every day. Now, he was on this flight hoping to reach someone, anyone, who could help get Emily into a special military-dependent program. He tried requesting it through proper channels, but the world rarely listens to janitors. On the plane, row after row of businessmen typed away on laptops. Teenagers scrolled through endless feeds, a couple argued softly about hotel reservations. People glanced at him, the faded jacket, calloused hands, scuffed shoes, and immediately dismissed him. Flight attendants walked past without a second look. A man asked him to switch seats because, "You look like you'd be more comfortable back there." Another woman shifted her purse away as if poverty were contagious. Ethan just smiled politely, because he didn't have the energy to be offended. That's when the turbulence hit. A sudden jolt rattled the overhead bins, a baby started crying, and the plane dipped enough to draw a collective gasp. The captain's voice came over the speaker, oddly tense, asking if any passenger on board had aviation or military experience. No one answered. People looked around, wide-eyed, waiting for someone else to step up. Anyone. Everyone assumed someone qualified must be on board. But no one spoke. Ethan's hands trembled. The responsible part of him, the one that never failed Emily, that kept him mopping floors at 3 a.m., told him to sit still. He wasn't military anymore. He didn't belong in that world. But then the plane shook again, harder this time, and something in his spine straightened. He stood. The people who had ignored him, who didn't even register his presence, now stared at him with disbelief. "You have experience?" a flight attendant asked, doubt dripping from each word. "A little," he said. She led him toward the cockpit, the passengers whispering behind him. A young man snickered, "What's a janitor gonna do?" Inside the cockpit, the captain was sweating. One of the sensors malfunctioned, creating a cascade of warnings. Ethan recognized the model immediately, old training memories firing to life after years of silence. He pointed to a failsafe, suggested a manual bypass, recalculated their descent angle, and issued calm instructions as if he'd never left the cockpit. The moment they stabilized, the captain stared at Ethan as if he'd just watched a ghost walk through the door. "You were Air Force, weren't you?" "Once," Ethan replied softly. When they landed, passengers clapped, not knowing who they clapped for. But the real moment came after everyone disembarked. At the bottom of the stairs, on the tarmac, stood a group of men in flight suits, F-22 Raptor pilots, patches gleaming beneath the sun. They weren't scheduled to be there. They weren't waiting for anyone on the manifest. But they were waiting for him. The base commander stepped forward. "Your name?" he asked. "Ethan Cole." "Call sign." Ethan hesitated. "Ghost Step." And something incredible happened. The entire unit, elite pilots known worldwide for precision, arrogance, and excellence, raised their hands in a perfect, synchronized salute. Passengers froze. The flight crew stared. The businessman who'd asked Ethan to move seats blinked in humiliation. "Ghost Step," the commander said, "we never forget our own. You disappeared. We thought we'd lost you." "I had a daughter to raise," Ethan replied, voice cracking. "We heard," the commander said gently. "And we also heard why you came." Ethan's throat tightened. "You won't need to beg," the commander continued. "Your daughter's treatment is approved. Permanently. And if you ever want to return to service, even part-time, we'll make it happen." Ethan looked away, tears finally breaking through after years of being strong for everyone except himself. As he stood on the runway, wind whipping at his worn jacket, he realized something powerful. Being invisible never meant being forgotten. His sacrifices mattered. His kindness mattered. His love for his daughter lit the path that brought him back to a place he thought he'd lost forever. He returned home not as a janitor who once flew, but as a father whose courage echoed across a runway lined with saluting heroes. And the message he carried with him, the one you're hearing right now, is simple. You never know who someone used to be. You never know what battles they're fighting. And you never know how close you are to a breakthrough.